I am absolutely looking forward to this, Cheryl. Really good to have you here. Thank you for making the time. Look, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
So my name's Cheryl. I am the PCN pharmacy lead for Pier Health Group, and I also work in a couple of the practices within Pier, just doing general day-to-day pharmacy work.
Fab. So you said just general day-to-day pharmacy work. You make it sound so easy, which I'm sure it isn't at all. So tell me a little bit about what day-to-day pharmacy work is and what it comprises. What does your day look like?
Okay, so on any general day, we deal with things like medicines queries coming in from community pharmacy, medicines queries coming in from patients. We help the MDT team with queries that they may have.
And MDT is?
A multidisciplinary team. So, you know, the nurses and the GPs. And we just sort of try and keep the day-to-day as business as usual, nice and quiet, you know, streamlined without any fuss and bother. It's quite a heavy workload in most practices, in fact, in all practices, I think. But we just sort of dig away and make that happen.
Fantastic. So pharmacists have, since the pandemic, been so, you've always been an instrumental bunch anyway, but since the pandemic, you guys have really been elevated in terms of, and I think our eyes have all been opened to how useful both community in practice and secondary care pharmacy is. So tell me what your own outlook of this is. How have you found the pre-pandemic pharmacy as it used to be, and in post-pandemic pharmacy, and what's the main difference that you can actually see?
So pre-pandemic, you know, we saw patients all the time face to face, lots and lots of, you know, patient interaction. Since then, it's been mainly, you know, telephone consultations. Very rarely do patients come into practice now. So that's a significant difference. Also, I would say the demand's got much higher now. For some reason, during the pandemic, things went pretty quiet. But since you know, we've come out the other side, or we're coming out of the other side, things have got significantly busier, I think.
And in terms of, there might be people out there that actually don't know that you can go to a pharmacist and actually get yourself fixed, if that's the right word. Talk to us a little bit about that, because you guys are a real big part of general practice now. So talk to us a little bit about that. So that if there's anybody out there watching or listening to us that doesn't actually know that pharmacists can consult, then you know you can navigate them. All yours.
I mean, we've got a significant amount of expertise. A lot of us come from a community pharmacy background as well. You know, we know about minor ailments, we know about interactions with drugs. You know, we're very knowledgeable about medicines in general. You know, and sometimes a patient might feel that they need to get a face-to-face appointment with a GP to talk about their medicines. They may not be happy with something, they may be having side effects potentially from things, but they don't really need to see a GP, because GPs are amazing and we wouldn't be a practice without them. But at the end of the day, you know, we are the medicines experts, and you know, we have the answers to almost everything.
Fantastic. And your own journey into pharmacy is I find very inspiring and interesting, because you came to pharmacy slightly later than most people. Why did you decide to become a pharmacist? And if you don't mind, talk us through your journey.
Well, I didn't decide to become a pharmacist. I was pushed into becoming a pharmacist. That's the truth. I had a little tiny job in my village pharmacy, a very quiet little place. A couple of afternoons a week. I had intended on, you know, sort of stepping back and not working as much, but I thought I was bored, so I got this little job. So I was working on the counter, selling nail polish and shampoo and things. And then eventually I started to do more and more backroom stuff. So I was getting involved in the dispensary. And then eventually my boss kept on pushing and pushing and pushing me to go to university. I didn't have much of an educational background. messed about at school, didn't really pay attention. So then that was quite a challenge, going to university with no qualifications and having to build that base up and then do the degree. And then obviously do the pre-registration pharmacy training as well. But I got my master's degree, got into pharmacy, and started off in community pharmacy. I did that for a long, long time. And then the opportunity with Pier came up, so I jumped to work in PCN.
That is so inspiring. If there's anybody actually watching or listening, it's just so, I find your journey into pharmacy, so it's not the traditional way, put it as
not at all.
Which I think it's just awesome and it's amazing. So it goes to show that you can do whatever you want to do. You just need to want to have it. And I just think you probably need to plug in the boss, because we've all had that, bosses who just gonna just nudge us a little bit to do that thing that we think we can never do, and we nail it. So why don't you plug them into this conversation? Just mention their first name, so if they're around, they can go, yes, that's our Cheryl.
Well, my boss at the time was Sibat Syed. He actually runs a community pharmacy in Weston-super-Mare in Moreland.
There you go. Fantastic. And can you tell me, if you weren't a pharmacist, what would you do? What
is a dream job?
Yeah, dream job.
Well, when I was at school, I wanted to be a telephonist. But I think I'd just do this. There are times when it's challenging, and like everyone, you think, oh my God, what am I doing here? But actually, I don't really think I'll be doing anything else.
Awesome. Now, Cheryl, before we go, why don't you just tell us a couple of things about pharmacy that makes that the discipline of medicine the very best? Why do you love it? Why is it the very best discipline in the entire whole wide world?
I just think it's because it's so wide ranging. You can help with everything from just helping someone not feel unwell. I'm sorry, that's my cat.
Oh, hello, cat.
To help people not feel unwell. And then, I don't know, it's just everything. It's just so wide, our role. We're helping the practice to perform the best that they can. We're also helping the PCN to, do as much as they can to help people in the community. It's just
PCN being primary care network.
Yes. There's just so many different facets to this role. I can't even put it into words.
And on a really hard day, what could the job look like? No one's listening to us, so you can share. On a really hard day.
Oh, I don't know. I guess it's things like desk space, because we're expanding so fast. It's very difficult to find the desk space and feel kind of settled in your place. That can be quite challenging sometimes. The workload can be terrifically high, but we're a growing team, and we're going to get there at some point, but we are a growing team, and so the more hands that come on deck, the better. And it is making a difference already.
Fantastic. And just before we go, a very last point, what's the best thing about pharmacy, and why do you love it so much?
I think it's just helping people. It's helping people and hitting those targets that we need to hit to make sure that we are helping the right amount of people. And it's just everything. I can't explain how good this job is. I can't. That's
fantastic. I'm really pleased that you spared 9 minutes and 40 seconds talking to us about your journey into pharmacy, which I think is inspiring, and what you do, and how difficult and fun it can be sometimes. Thank you for your time, Cheryl. We really appreciate you.
Take care.